Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel about cooking food discoveries. And today we'll be making soup, specifically leek soup, which is very cheap, incredibly simple, and a great thing to warm you up in these cold winter afternoons. What we will need is about half a kilo of leek. And the thing with leek is that you need to wash it really well, because almost always between those leaves there's a leftover soil. So we need to wash it well with the cold water. And once we have everything washed, we can head over to our cutting board and chop this to very random pieces, some big, some small, it doesn't really matter. But of course, if you're a perfectionist, you can take your time and make everything even. In my eyes, the diversity looks better, at least in this case. We keep the prepared leek on the side, maybe in a bowl, and we head over to our stove where we put in a big pot some butter, let it melt. And when the butter is melted, we add all our leek that we prepared. And we only want the leek to turn translucent. We don't want it to fry. We want to keep the flavors in the soup. So add some salt, some freshly ground nutmeg, but please don't use the pre-ground nutmeg from the supermarkets. Use the fresh one because nutmeg's actually losing its aroma and flavor very quickly. After a few minutes of cooking, when it looks something like this and the leek lost most of its volume, we add about a liter of chicken broth or stock and about a liter of water. Of course, some freshly ground black pepper. And now to make the soup a little bit thicker, we don't use just the plain flour because it will make lumps and it will taste horribly. We prepare a roux, which is basically a melted butter with some flour. And what this does, it helps the soup to absorb the flour much easier, in a much nicer way, and you don't have this floury taste in there. If you just add flour into the soup in order to try to make it thicker, it will make lumps, because what it does, the flour on the surface will start cooking immediately, make a capsule, encapsulate the rest of the raw flour inside, and you will never get rid of the lumps. Like this, the butter actually helps it really nicely melt into the liquid. The ratio is about 1:1, so 50 grams of butter to 50 grams of flour. And with 100 grams of roux, we can thicken about a liter of soup lightly. And when both things are hot, we stir it in. Check for seasoning if it needs some more salt. Cover up with lid and cook for about 30 minutes. And now the best part of this soup. 250 milliliters of cream with 2 egg yolks. And there are plenty of ways how to separate egg yolks from egg whites. This is my way. You basically flip the egg yolk from one side to another, and the edge of the eggshell will cut the egg yolk off. If not, don't be afraid to use your finger to help you. Set the egg whites on the side. And now whisk these two ingredients together. Now when the soup is almost done, we turn off the heat and slowly stir the mixture of cream and the egg yolks in, and this nicely rounds up the taste. Add a little bit of color to the soup as well. One last final check for seasoning. And again, the soup is not cooking anymore. And in my case, I needed a little bit more salt. And just a tiny little bit more of the nutmeg. And with this step, it's absolutely optional, but it will give more texture to the soup. I like to do. If you don't want to throw away your egg whites, or you don't have any other recipe to use them with, you can slowly stir them in. But don't worry, there's plenty of residual heat in the soup that will cook the egg whites. But it looks funny afterwards. So it's up to you. And as I mentioned, this is an autumn/winter soup. I like to serve mine into the bowls, not the deep plates. And this garnishing step was only for the photos. Make it a little bit more eye candy. And here we go, for just a few euros you have a nice big pot of soup that will warm you up in the cold winters. And if you tried and enjoyed this recipe, please let me know in the comments. And of course subscribe. Bon appetit and see you next time!